The story of the founder is an inspirational one. What he accomplished was a revolutionary change in education in favor of the poor and the working classes. What this meant for 17th century France was free education. Jean-Baptiste De La Salle came from great wealth, which he inherited upon his father's death. This gave him an obvious advantage in caring for his teachers in training because he was able to provide them with adequate shelter, nourishing food, and proper health care. But his money was a drawback too.
My risk-taking story takes us back to 2005 when I was a junior at George Washington Carver High School located in South Memphis. It was just a regular time where doing testing, we had the chance to take the ASVAB, which is the military aptitude test to see if you would like to join the military, which branch you will best fit into. So I took the test and I got the results back maybe a week later. And I was getting emails, phone calls, mail correspondence about join the Air Force, join the Army, join the Navy. I think it was like maybe 15 days I thought about this. And I decided to join the Tennessee Army National Guard. So I guess the biggest risk for me was thinking like, holy crap, if I go to war, I'm gonna die. You know, some of the stigmas that the military has, I was thinking like that at, 17 years old. But I told myself, and I talked to my mother as well, she was like, you'll never know unless you try. I mean, I've decided on this one particular branch of service, but I was like, is it for me? I had to weigh the benefits and the disadvantages as well. I was, kind of shaking when I was signing my, as they say, my life away on the dotted line for the service. But I wouldn't change a single second of any moment that I have experienced with the military.
I definitely don't have as cool of a risk-taking story as St. Jean-Baptiste de La Salle, but some of the risks or the type of risks that I usually take is that I'll kind of just jump into a situation without knowing what to expect or without knowing, I guess, much about what the outcomes could even be. I didn't know what I wanted to study and I didn't know what I want to be when I grow up, but I just kind of jumped into CBU and jumped into the School of Engineering, and I just enjoyed my experience very much so, and it's been incredible opportunities. When I decided to go to CBU, the main thing that I based my decision off of was just how the campus felt, and everything about it just felt like home and it just felt right. So I think the main decision factor for my risk taking is just feeling led to do something or led to go somewhere. Just feeling a strong pull or a strong sense of belonging or home or connection. So that's, again, why I chose CBU. That's why I chose engineering and stayed with engineering. That's why I added a math major. And it's also why I accepted a job offer in Wisconsin, where I don't know anybody, but I'm just kind of jumping in because, again, it just felt right. It felt like home.
In 2011, I was living as a refugee in Damascus, Syria, when I came across a program called the Iraqi Student Project. The Iraqi Student Project goal was to help young Iraqi refugees in Syria receive a college education in the United States. And so I applied to the Iraqi Student Project and was accepted, but then I learned that there was no guarantee. There was a chance I would not get accepted into an American college. Now, the year before, I had repeated my senior year of high school. So I was a year behind my peers. Getting accepted into ISP required me to spend a year doing intensive academic preparation and learning English. So there was a lot standing in my way. Even if I worked my absolute hardest with the Iraqi Student Project, I still had to get a US visa and getting accepted into an American college with a tuition waiver. And those two things were uncertain and unpredictable. But I was willing to take that risk. I decided an American college gives me the opportunity to vastly improve my life and get an excellent education and eventually help in solving the problems that are facing my country, Iraq. But ultimately, it all worked out. I ended up getting accepted at Christian Brothers University with a tuition waiver, to which I'm so very grateful, and I got a US visa, and here I am after 4 years. I'm about to graduate and move on to graduate school.
Elementary school through middle school to like the first couple of years of high school, my family, my mother and my brothers and sisters, we were homeless. We kind of bounced back and forward from different family members' houses. We lived in shelters because I had an older brother who was over 18. Sometimes we couldn't go to certain shelters because it was only for women and children. That was kind of difficult because I was so used to our family being together. We lived in a couple of different shelters, and when the shelters would get full and we didn't have, any family that we could stay with, we had to just sleep in our car. One particular night I remember we had to sleep on the parking lot of Schnucks. I don't think Schnucks exists anymore in Memphis. We parked right by a light pole so that we wouldn't be in the dark. And I didn't sleep that night. I kind of stayed up and I prayed, and I was like, God, why is this happening to me? I was just as smart as everybody. We all looked the same. And they would go home to their warm beds, and I didn't know where I would be going after school. Are we going to another shelter? Are we gonna sleep in our car this time? What cousin or aunt or uncle is gonna let us come in and sleep on the floor tonight?
I grew up in the suburbs, so I grew up away from the city, and there was a lot of negative feelings about the city that, it's just full of crime and poverty, and that there's really nothing to be done about it. That's just kind of how Memphis is. And I kind of took a spin on that and moved to the city from the suburbs to go to college, and worked within the city and worked with people that were living in the city. I would say my biggest risk at CBU was doing student teaching at Booker T. Washington High School. I wanted to impact or be a positive influence in a place that's different from mine and learn more about a different culture. Also, it's a part of such a positive part of change because, President Obama came and spoke at Booker T. Washington High School because they got their graduation rate up from 50% to 80%. And I have a passion for working in my own city with the issues that people, usually drive people away from it, like poverty and racism and injustice. And it might feel hopeless sometimes. There are things that we can do to help.
Although De La Salle tried to inspire his teachers to dedicate themselves entirely to the cause and to trust in God's care and providence, the teachers were slow to respond to his appeal. Being poor men themselves, the teachers thought that it was easy for him to ask them to make these sacrifices because he still had his wealth. The teachers wondered what would become of them if the schools failed. De La Salle saw the validity in their objections and responded radically. He decided to give away all of his wealth and to put himself on the same level with his teachers.
All my friends were talking about the colleges that they wanted to go to, and I was like, well, how am I going to afford college? We can't afford food, we can't afford a house, we can't afford a bed. College isn't for me, I'm not going. I really had to focus because my mother was not going to let that happen. She was like, Kiara, you're going to college no matter what, even if I have to take out loans. All my friends were going to basketball games and football games, and I was in the library studying because I had to make straight A's because I wanted a scholarship. I was like, there's no way I'm going to let my mom be in that much debt so that I can go to school. If she hadn't been so strong, I probably wouldn't have been strong. I knew that education would be my way out of a poverty mindset. You know, I knew that education would be my way out of negative thinking. There was something out there for me to learn, and that there was something in me that other people would need. And so if I gave up, that means somebody else's world was going to go dark.
So when I actually went to basic training in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and advanced individual training in Fort Lee, Virginia, I encountered a lot of individuals who shaped and molded my persona, my personality to fit how I am today. To understand that, you know, there is more to life than just who's dating who or what celebrity is in right now. But there's actual issues going on in the world that we have to stand up for. And that was also one of the primary reasons that I chose to go to Christian Brothers University, because of its commitment to social justice.
What I stress out about is like making the wrong choice or missing out on another opportunity, but I just kind of tell myself that if it feels right, then that's what I should go with. My freshman year, I was in a singing group with one of the professors on campus, and I got an email saying, "Hey Becky, are you interested in this program?" And I didn't know anything about it. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but I said, "A free trip to Philadelphia? Of course I'm interested." Because I said yes and went to the summer Lasallian conference. That's like how I've become so passionate about St. John Baptist De La Salle. And if I hadn't have taken that risk, then I wouldn't have known anything about what I was missing.
And it's depressing to wake up every day and see on the news that there's been another shooting, or that there's all this terrible stuff of people starving. And it's just, I think it was my journey maybe in Catholic school, understanding that everyone has dignity, that drove me to want to help people and figure out different ways we can solve a problem or bring hope into a hopeless situation. Students need to look beyond themselves and look around and see the dignity of humanity, of the earth, of, you know, the universe, whatever they believe in, and realize that their actions can cause change. You know what people say, it's like what we can do today is what matters for tomorrow or whatever, but it's just that even our smallest actions, like starting a food pantry or going and tutoring at a high school, can impact someone for like the rest of their life.
My advice to graduating seniors or recent graduates or anybody that's not quite sure where they're going or what they want to do is to just kind of take the opportunities as they come and to not be afraid to take the risks and to say yes. If something feels right, or if you just really feel in your heart that that's something that you should do, or that that's somewhere that you should go, don't say no just because you don't know what's going to happen. Staying where you're comfortable as opposed to branching out to the unknown, it can feel more secure, it can feel, again, comfortable, but you won't know what you're missing out on until after it's kind of passed you by. A lot of the crazy random opportunities that I've had in my life have been because I've, you know, stepped out on a limb and taken an opportunity, or because somebody else stepped out on a limb and took an opportunity.
You only live once. I mean, I would want someone to think logically about the decision, because that one decision can affect your life forever. So I would tell someone, just weigh your options. And even if you have some doubts, just go talk to someone, because that's what most teenagers fail to do. You know, they don't have, or they don't think they have a significant role model in their life. You know, they just see a teacher as just a teacher, but the teacher could be the push they need to actually go forth and be successful to them. I want it to be my mission, my job, to show, you know, the children of my race that you can go out there and make a difference. You can go beyond your community, beyond your circumstances, and make yourself better, not only for yourself, but also your family as well.
I say, embrace uncertainty. Things are not always certain. So have the courage to take a risk when the reward is big enough. And also have faith that it will all work out. If you work hard if you work really hard and take a risk.
Stand proud, in who you are, and don't ever let anyone make you feel less than what you think you are. Because at the end of the day, you're just as human as me. We both have to eat. We both need water. We both need air to breathe. And God loves you just like He loves me. And there's nothing in this world that can separate us from that love. So if you're homeless, if you're poor, whatever you're going through, you're still worth it. You're still worth love. People should still be kind to you. People should still treat you like you're a human, because you are.
By taking this risk, the founder was able to encourage the students by giving up his privilege. Because of his actions, the schools grew in number and spread all over France and ultimately reached around the world. The work of our saint has been rewarded with amazing results. The brothers continue to give their lives and their gifts to thousands of students at Lasallian schools in 80 countries. Taking risk is actually part of everyday life. Having the determination to act on those risks is perhaps more unique. But in every case, the choice to embrace the unknown and uncomfortable is grounded in faith, the belief that the risk is worth taking. John Baptist De La Salle sacrificed a life of wealth and nobility to uncover the value that lay within each and every student.